Greetings from Italia, I'm the Lord Bones, IMO Quattro Lius. Quattro Lius is a platformer which was released on the 15th and is by Jardel Elias. Okay, so you probably noticed the sort of clickbaity title that I did on here, that this game here is executed quite poorly for the platformer, especially because it's an indie one in particular. I think if this had more of a budget behind it and maybe a little bit more skill behind it, it might be executed a little bit better. And we'll see exactly why that is. Firstly, I'm going to look at what I said in the beginning was Quattro Lius. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce it or not. It's obviously not English, but we'll go with it anyway. So, in the settings, this is absolutely appalling right here. It's just music, sound, and the resolution of the full screen or not, and graphics quality with a few different settings. Now, the reason why this is appalling is because this game is absolutely unplayable with keyboard. I found it so difficult with keyboard. You're going to have to use a controller, and there's no way of rebinding any of the keys in this. And it seems as though that this person both does not know how to bind things to a keyboard or to a controller, because there are many more buttons on these things that could be used to make this game slightly better. We're going to hop straight into my saved one, which is this one over here. And I'm going to tell you exactly why this game actually isn't that good, because it's a 3D platformer. So firstly, there's this sort of hub section here. And I can just jump around the section here. I'm going to run back to an earlier level, actually. But it's a fairly simple game, to be fair. You just sort of run around, and the only buttons you've got are the jump button. And you can switch between different worlds. So you can switch between a fire world, a sort of grassy world, a sort of, I guess, sun-type world, and this sort of weird, I don't know, night robots. But the fact that this here is sort of electric, and all the section over here is electric, I guess it's to do with that. So I entered the session here only having the white, red, green, and yellow. I had to then get, I think it was 20 or something of the main things you get from the levels, and then I unlocked the next section, which was the last section over here. So that's sort of the mechanics behind it. So you have to go into each of these levels, find certain of these blue orbs, and then you can then proceed, and you get another one of these sort of capes here. Now, what do these capes actually do? I'm actually going to show you one in a previous level, because those levels there are not only very difficult, but also are very difficult to be able to do whilst I'm commentating over it. I think I'm going to go and try, well, I can try any of these, because I actually completed all of them actually in here. Now, in this world over here, I think I only had up to the grassy one. So, you are doing a very basic platformer. Now, when you change over, you might notice there that there's smoke coming out of that circle. I'm not sure what you call it, the circle end where everything meets together. If I switch over to any others, there's no steam coming out of that there. So certain things only happen when you're in certain cloaks. That's the reason for this mechanic right here. Is so that way you can have to switch between them. Now, you switch between them on the keyboard and mouse by clicking the left and right button to switch between them. And now I mean that quite literally, by the way. You literally have to press LB and RB to cycle through these. There is no literal bindings, which you would probably want, to be fair. You want to be able to go instantly from, let's say, the robot one instantly to the fire one, which I want to do so many times during some of the later levels in this thing. But you don't, which is a bit weird, and you can't rebind this stuff. And it's not like I could go into, let's say, my Razer panel and things and customize this. I couldn't, because I don't know which of these I'm actually going to be on. So firstly, the big thumbs down for not having the controls on a game that really bloody well needs it. It just does. I'm sorry, but it does. Also, by the way, don't expect to be playing this whilst sitting on your couch or whatever, because although its controller is supported, not completely. I'm having to use a mouse then to be able to click onto the menu. It's not even fully supported with the controller, which I think is just an abomination considering just how much of this game cannot be played with a keyboard and mouse. It's just appalling. Now, the game, it does do some things well, which is why I think it's a concept that is just used poorly. So if you see there's a platform right here, but obviously not a platform when I jump and go to a different section. You see? And that concept there was sort of done with another game called Giana Sisters. That was by, it's the Wolf one. I can't remember what studio it's called now, but it doesn't matter too much anyway. But Giana Sisters does the same sort of thing, in which you can switch between the two worlds, and the two worlds have two different. I'm meant to do here. I'm meant to do. Nope, I have no idea what I'm meant to do here. Probably that. Yes. Okay. Now, this here is taking the same idea, but it's doing it in a 3D platform. However, because it's an indie game, this game does it very poorly, in my opinion. It really does. Because it's just, firstly, the camera is absolutely, it's not the worst, but it could be much better. You don't actually have full control of the camera. You're having to actually use their camera, which is actually quite difficult to do. It really is. It's more difficult than you might think, especially with the moving platforms. In fact, to be perfectly honest with you, what I'll show you next is a level that I literally cannot do. And I cannot do it because of the certain way in which they've actually built things in this game. Also, you might notice, by the way, just here, this is the reason why I'm showing you this level in particular. Do you see that flickering? I could probably put a circle around that flickering right there. That's where they've actually glued the things a little bit too closely. That happens not a lot, but you can definitely tell it happens in other places as well on this thing, which is just a little bit weird and a little bit, I don't know, it feels like an indie game. It feels half finished. It feels like if this had more to it, it might actually be able to be good. If that's more money, for example, or more of anything really, I suppose, but I'm not even sure where you're meant to go from up here, but I'm going to quit this level anyway to go show you the other thing. So this game, it doesn't feel right, and the camera means that certain parts are really difficult, and for that reason, it just doesn't work as an indie title, as a platformer in general, rather. And it's because it's an indie title. It really is. It might be a miss, but I'm going to show you now why I absolutely sort of kind of hate this game, and it's this level here. I love gold spelt with a bunch of O's. I don't know whether that's a Goldfinger Austin Powers joke, but I guess that doesn't really matter too much. It's these things right here. And this here will show you exactly why the camera is absolutely... Oh, bugger. I can't even do the first one. This will show you why the camera is just absolute... just rubbish. Okay. We jump over to there. Now... firstly, these here are absolutely pathetic. By the time I get over to there, it's already down. I can never jump all the way off this whilst that's up at the very top. I don't know how you're supposed to do this. I don't know where you're supposed to jump in order to make things, because it seems like there's an exact point. Now here, you see on that so the top left of the screen there is a moving set of, thing going round. Now somehow I'm meant to be jumping off this onto those. How exactly I am meant to do this, I do not know, because when you're down here waiting to run over there, you can see nothing. In fact, you can't even see anything unless you go to at least halfway right here. It's just pathetic. And if I just could give me the second stick, allow me to just move the stick slightly over there, because otherwise all I do is randomly go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's absolutely pathetic. It's just not good mechanics. And the camera is definitely one of the downsides to this. And I can show you other footage over the top of me speaking now, because there's certain parts in which the camera sort of hides certain things that you need to be able to get perfectly, especially on the spinning round things. I mean, and that just makes the entire experience just pathetic. It's not hard because it's hard. It's not hard because of you. It's hard because the game itself is just not quite good enough to do things. And I want to show you just this last one here. Now, when I did this first time, it did actually there was an error, and I may be able to show you that as well, in which at the very end of this entire cutscene here, the person moved but didn't quite move where I think it went, where the game wanted it to go, rather. But either way, I want to show you this section here. So I'm now in the centre here, and as before you can switch between them. Now we can't. You can hear me just tapping my RB there. And have a look at this here. And as I jump, they change automatically. And this here is just really enjoyable to do as a last level. That there was. Why on earth can't there just be a mode where that happens on some of the things, where I can just easily, set up a way for me to jump? I wonder if this will error again and make me... Oh no, this time I actually stayed where I think it wanted me to stay. But I just wanted to show you that level there, because there was so much potential with this game, and it's just not good. It's just flaunt. It's just not. It doesn't have the production value to make it good. I think that's it. I think that's what I've come to the conclusion of. It just didn't have the production value to make it actually a good game. So this is probably a miss, and I'm going to do the final statement on this now because there's probably more than enough time to tell you why this game is bad. Quattro Lose is a great concept done poorly. It's on Steam for £5.60, $8, €8 with 10% off in the launch sale. This one's probably a miss, guys. Catch you next time. Goodbye.